make sure I get this correct. And if I do that, I say, what evening, Robin. A bit all over the place tonight, so not quite sure. I'm just not quite sure, but I'll do my best for you. Right, you should have everything there. We'll do the parish notes in a moment. It's been a big day today for the Middle East, but you know me, cynical old tart. Do I trust it? But as far as I can spit it. So no, we'll talk about that and Trump and stuff and Bibi Netanyahu. Well, you now know that because he's not a war prime minister, he can be taken into the courts and prosecuted for corruption. So why isn't he? He's very happy to be dancing with the Trump. Don't know what's going on, but there is something going on, that's for sure. I mean, we know it's the gas and the oil, and it's gonna it's gonna make them trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars, not shekels, dollars. And there's King Blair. I mean, Charles Linton, Bow Street Magistrates Blair. He and I did actually. Do you know? The other day, I thought I keep telling people to Google Charles Linton with a Y, Bow Street Magistrates, and I thought I'll see what comes up. And it's everybody going, "Oh, do you know about Charles Linton platooning males in you know." Oh, hello. What's your name? If you know, you know. Bit like, you know, what do Wellington Boots have and George Michael have in common? They both get sucked off in bogs. Same for Charles Linton, seemingly. So I Googled it. And it's just everybody going, "Oh, have you heard about it? Have you heard about it?" So if you do Google it, you might have to go to page 2 or 3. I got down to page 3, and it still wasn't anything, any official documents. It was just everybody going, "Oh, I say, has one heard about Charles Linton?" Yes, takes it up the arse. Well, no idea who Charles Linton is, by the way. I'm going to read some comments from the Digital ID video or live that I did last Wednesday. I just edited it down and made it a bit more pacey and stuck it up, not thinking it was going to get so many views. So people are definitely waking up. And YouTube has... So if you've got anybody in the family that doesn't understand it, look, it's 40 minutes. It needs concentration. You can't just kind of put it on in the background and walk around making your dinner because you need to know... Because the payoff at the end is the payoff at the end. But it's how you get there. It's about the journey, not about the destination. What is the old saying? It's better to journey in hope than arrive disappointed. Oy vey, my life. So Rebel, welcome to the body of the Kirk. Peter Reese Jones, good evening, I see you and all your utter wrong-uns. Amalia, hopefully, Amalia, you managed to sort the telly out. Notice I didn't say the... no, it's not a gag in there. But welcome to the body of the Kirk, as always, Amalia. Hang on. No, I haven't been for the X-ray. Why? Well, the last time I went there, I was told it's a 3-hour wait. And it's £6.50 an hour for car parking at my local hospital. They can go and stick it where the sun don't shine, or where Sir Keir Starmer puts it with a Fun Boy 3. So, no, I'm not going to go and have an X-ray. Fuck them. I feel sorry for the nurses. I mean, they've got to pay for parking all day, every day. And most of their wage will go on the bloody parking. At least Dick Turpin wore a mask. So I'm unsure how I'm going to... There's kind of stuff happening in the background that is very distracting, and it's just distracting. So I'm not really there's so much stuff going on that I have to do something, and it's YouTube. It's not real life. It's just YouTube, and YouTube has a bit like the news cycle, has a certain pace to it. So if I kind of miss one or two, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, he's shite, I'll go somewhere else. So all the hard work we've done over the last 3 years can end up being for naught. But thankfully, whilst we wait for everybody to get their feet under the table, what was I going to say to you? Yeah, 250th live this coming Sunday. So I'll do tonight 248, Wednesday 249, and then Sunday 250. We'll try. I mean, 250 lives, bloody hell. There's only 50 weeks in a year. I see you. That's my Adrian. Don't go to hospital unless you're dying. Well, we're all dying, I see you. Just depends how long we've got on this spinning orb. But I mean, ultimately, I've said this before, we're all just walking each other home. I did watch something a little earlier because I'm trying to get myself into the place where I can, I'm not going to be the ranty Rev tonight, sadly. So if you've come here thinking I'm going to rant my tits off, no. I'm a bit more sanguine. I'm a bit more laid back this evening because my energy is slightly depleted. Soul Rebel, always love alive, Aid. Oh, yeah. Bless you, Soul Rebel. Always love alive, comma, Aid. Otherwise, I'll sound like something that went off in 84. Smash the likes, says Les Griffiths. Yes, smash the likes if you wouldn't mind. It. Neil, we can do live 300. It'll be let's have a think. 4 a week, 80, 20 odd weeks. So it'll be about 4 months. Yeah, we won't be far away from the 300. Should we do a quiz for 250? I'm sure we can come up with some, because we kind of do the, honestly, I can't think tonight. I can't even string a sentence together. Let me think about it. We'll have a definitive by Wednesday, but that's a very kind offer, Neil. Thank you. Hang on a second. So, Rebel, you're on form tonight, Rev. Bloody hell, I thought I wasn't. I'm just trying to control my breathing so I don't end up coughing. What was I saying? Yeah, so maybe we'll do a quiz on Sunday, 250. Some people don't like them. Les don't like them. He likes the real hard stuff. He likes to get stuck in there. I've got a bit of that tonight because of the digital ID. But I know that everybody here will have watched the live last Wednesday and will have got it. It's amazing how YouTube promoted it because, as I said in the live Wednesday, I think it's in the video, it's amazing how the whole world kind of were in lockdown, March 2020. Do you realise it's 5.5 years since lockdown started? 5.5 years. Marley says, I love the quizzes. Love the quizzes. All right, well, we'll have a look at it. We'll definitely have a look at it. Right. Les is more your general knowledge kind of guy. He says, I like the quizzes, just not music all the time. Well, we've kind of done music and a bit of Hollywood, so we might do general knowledge. Maybe, where are we? October 2025 general knowledge? Okay, here's a question for you. No need to answer it, but here's a question for you. So the shirt lifter was in fucking India, and he's like, oh, well, we're going to make Bollywood films. And I'm sitting there thinking, where's the Fun Boy 3? No, I was thinking, Matthew, thank you. I was thinking, hang on a second. That's a news story from about a year ago. So over the next week or so, I'm going to try and find it in my newspaper archive because I keep the newspapers every day. Dave Johnson, how time flies when you're having fun. Dave Johnson, time flies when you're the driver of a train. Half man, half biscuit. Doing the Len Ganley stance. What idiot set off fireworks in October? The dog shit himself and almost knocked down the Christmas tree. There's seemingly in Lima in Peru, there's an illegal fireworks storage gone off. I mean, everybody just piled out the house and went, oh, isn't that lovely? Oh, isn't that lovely? No, it's bloody fireworks going off. It's burnt the whole kind of shanty town down. That's why it was illegal and out of the way, out of sight and out of mind. What was I going to say? Quizzes, no. YouTube. Yeah, I was going to say YouTube must have decided the digital ID video was quite a decent video because it pushed it, and it didn't really take off the first few hours, and then poof, off it went. Hasn't gone viral, but it's getting close to 5,000 views, which I'll take any day over a kick in the nuts. Oh, there we go. Andrew James at David Graham will be here all night with a bloody sports quiz. Oh, shall we do a sports quiz, or shall we do that? So the man who I now can't name went to India and says, "Oh yeah, we're going to start making Bollywood films. We're going to bring Bollywood films to the United Kingdom." And I thought, David Beckham. I thought there's a story. And I think it was while the Tories were in power, they said that they were going to start making, if my memory serves me correct, and as I say, I need to go through the newspapers to find it, the Tory party announced that there was going to be Bollywood films made at Elstree. Is that where they make the James Bond films? I think that's where they were going to make Bollywood films. But that was announced by the Tory party. So Toxic walks out shaking hands with some Indian Prime Minister, and I thought, hang on a second, they're saying about Bollywood films. Well, they can have it in shite, because they're lying. That was a Tory party announcement from about 14 months ago. So they're at it. I don't know why they were meeting the Indians, the little Indians. Not sure why they were meeting them, but they were meeting them not for Bollywood films. And everybody else is. There was arguments going on online on X, Twitter, saying, "Oh, it's wonderful news," and then other people going, "Oh, I don't wear shite." And I was thinking, hang on, doesn't anybody have any kind of a memory longer than a 3-second goldfish? It was about 14 months ago. The Tories announced it, that they were going to make Bollywood films over here. And that was little rich boy, Cockite. And then all of a sudden, it's another Cockite with a Fun Boy 3. Labour Party is the Tory party, though, says Alan, which is a very fair point. Very fair point. Phil Sumner, smash those likes, you utter wrong uns. Oh, no, bloody tough audience tonight, man. Oh, you're wrong uns. Yeah, smash the likes on the way in as well as on the way out, because then on the way in, you're a fan of the channel. On the way out, well, you've liked what I've done. So you can't do it twice. Lionel Layton says, I haven't seen a film in about 10 years and I don't watch TV much. Sports, I hate. I'm a former function musician, so I love the old stuff. Dear, oh, Lionel Layton, it's the old working men's club drummer. It was the same for every bloody song. Well, it was in my local. I see you, Bollywood. No thanks. And I was going to mention something else there that I thought, we'll get into that rather than the parish notes. In September 2021, it was announced that Elstree Studios will be collaborating with Yash Raj Films to develop and produce Bollywood movies. Thank you, Laird Walkfit. I told you it was recent. But 2021, we're in lockdown, so time just didn't, it morphed into other things. But I'm telling you, he's the idiot, the Toxic. He's walked out and gone, thank you very much, Mr. Prime Minister. Hey, you're taller than bloody Rishi. And Bollocks Wood says Paulie Gallieri. Very funny, Paulie. And it was announced years ago. So, fingers on you. Oh, very good. But we might have a Belfidian in. Stephen Hall. Evening, Adrian. Evening, Stephen. I am a fan. I do quite like Traitors. Although I kind of don't know how to get the numbers. Bollywood, I bet they do. So they make a shit ton of money. There's billions of them. That's why. Billions of them going to the cinema. Yeah, that's definitely a Belfidian. Can you do the Beckham voice again? My neighbour just let her dog out. No, I'm not bloody Beckham. I will do a Beckham watch. She'll do a Beckham watch. No, bloody hell, man. Lady Vicky, old fur coat, no knickers. Bloody hell, she's number one on the Netflix charts. Yeah. And you know, she's had to use Beckham, David, Kneeballs, Beckham. And all the kids, it's like, hello, my name's David. This is me missus. Yeah. according to the Manchester United supporters who sing it at Old Trafford, Posh takes it up the arse. I have no idea what my fixation is with the derriere this evening. I have no idea. Any updates or info on Dougie's next hearing? No. Oh, David Graham, what can I say? Rev, I didn't know that Beckham was from the northeast. Well, he would be, because he knows where the best beer is. The Beckham voice drives me cat bananas. Is your cat called Bananas? Is it Nana Banana, Nano Banana, Neon Banana? There's that new AI thing. Bananas, banana. Bananas in pyjamas. Stuart, the dog's going mental out there. Just tell them, wait for November the 5th. That'll sort them out. I don't mean that. I genuinely love animals. I wouldn't foist November the 5th on dogs in a month of Sundays. Soul Rebel. I'm watching episode 2. Sorry, Marley. Let's get it in sequence. I watched it the other day. Enjoyed it. Read the designing. Yes, it's very nice castle. Not sure who my favourite was, but they got rid of the right person second episode. I mean, there was loads of gags where they could have done faith gags around gotta have faith, no more. Albert Metcalf, you sound like Bob Mortimer in Big Night Out. Oh, Vicar Fallen. It's close. Lionel Layton, didn't do workmen's clubs very often. I did posh do's for lower royals and their lot. Had to dress up for it. Cumberbund et al. Blimey. Lionel Layton, Cumberbund. Don't see those very often. In fact, more often than not, the royals will wear white collar. No, a lot of people don't know what a white collar is. They go, oh, black tie. No, white collar, white tie. That's kind of El Supremo. Black tie is just for the oaks. The cat's called Jaffa because he's bright orange. That is brilliant, Neil. That is brilliant. So we'll do a bit of Beckham watch. I mean, dear Lord, put me out of my misery. Just give me a bullet in the back of the head. Oh, I mean, I did try and watch her to give her any credit whatsoever. I thought, well, she was in the Spice Girls. I would rather stick pins in my eyes than listen to the shite the Spice Girls produced. I mean, my ears, it would be offensive. Although they're pop songs, so not that offensive. Yeah, Alan says the church choir's a bit noisy at night. Yeah, keep it down, you're wrong. So I watched the first episode of Posh, and honestly, it was shite. I mean, sometimes I'll watch shite and think, oh, well, I just want to get to the end of this. But I thought, I've got to bail. I've got to bail. I mean, she had David there with his top off, if that's supposed to attract the women. And my name's David. I've lost one of my sons. We were trying to work out how many kids they had yesterday. And some people thought they had 3. Some people thought they had 4. And we missed out Romeo. I know one of them suffered from epilepsy. And that was covered up. Sorry, did I say that out loud? Not going to tell you which one, but one of them has. Fits and everything. But there's little Brooklyn. So I was just trying to work out the names of Posh's kids. So there's Brooklyn, obviously, because that's where they were, doing it. And then they've got Cruz on a ship. Harper must have been bizarre. And then I thought, hang on, they haven't got somebody called up the arse. The Manchester United supporters will laugh. Because that's what they sang at Old Trafford. I'm just repeating what they sang. I'm not making it up myself. Stuart says, did you watch the Charlie Sheen doc on Netflix? Oh, yes. It's mad. It is proper. I watched all of them. All the episodes of Charlie Sheen. That boy is proper. He's lived it large and right out there. I mean, oh, blimey. Covered up on not useful publicity. What was covered up? So they've really pushed it hard, so to speak, so that Posh would go to number 1. But I mean, it's just about her fashion house. And good luck to her, because she's making a shit ton. I'm trying to work out the Hugh Bovrils gag. Derry was the other kid's name. So it was Romeo. Hey, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? Whoop, yeah, bugger, I didn't say that. That's an old trick that I learned in the army. Hang on, what's Phil said now? All right, you're having your own conversations, and I'm just after 12:30. So, Beckham watch, don't watch it. It's shite. I mean, the David Beckham that Netflix did last year during the summer was quite good, because it had all of his successes and achievements. And Posh is making more from eyeliner, or is it mascara? I'm a bloke. I don't use it. I'm a bloke. I'm not Freddie Mercury, but seemingly from makeup, she's making more money than dresses. And Stuart's going to watch episode 2 of The Traitors this evening after this live. Thank you, Stuart. Lauren Taylor says, I think the girl is called Harper 7. Is that the same as Johnny 7? Different connotations, though. So let me have a look. My paperwork is all over the shite. Let's see if... well, no, I'm going to have to do it this way. Where are you? Wherefore art thou? Right. So, tonight, if we get a chance, it's pretty loose tonight. There's no real deep dives as such. We're going to talk about Born and Bred here, because seemingly that's offensive. And I don't understand why. So, I don't understand why. Sometimes the shite that the police are policing is beyond my comprehension. I know it's the political will. I don't know why I'm pointing up there, because they're not next to God. Cleanliness is next to godliness, not MPs, moronic people. But seemingly some reform councillor, bless her, was being interviewed and then said, I'm born and bred here. And then she went, I can't say that. And then spent the next 30 seconds I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that. And I'm thinking, hang on a second, it's just a phrase. It's a term that we use because, I'm English. I can trace my lineage back for 1,500 years in this island. This one. Longer than fucking Charles the Weak, longer than most other people. I can trace it on my mother's side and have had a professional family tree thingy man do it for us. Get back to Rollo and the Vikings. Oh, bit of rape and pillage. I've just seen it on the telly. So when and it all kind of kicked off, and I was thinking, hang on, that's just something that I would say to you if you would say, you were Mackham, and I would say, yeah, I'm born and bred here. But you can't say that now. So how do you say that I'm born and bred here without the A? Because then you would just be losing your loaf. Sorry, best I've got tonight. So so I'm going to ask you a question. Hang on a second. Let me get to Les Griffiths. Les, tell it like it is, man. Don't mince your words. It's not a police matter. They can feck off. Brilliant, Les. Hang on. Yeah, I'm going to ask you questions. Right. 1 for yes. I kind of know the answer, but 1 for yes, 2 for no, 3 for I don't know. So the first question of the live this evening is, are you offended by the phrase born and bred? 1 for yes, 2 for no, 3 for I don't know, man. So tell me, are you offended by the phrase born and bred? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Amalia, you've hit the wrong button. You're wrong. Born and Bred was a good drama with James Bolam. Ooh. Stuart says, of course, no. So Rebel, no. Karen Davis, no. Amalia, stop laughing, you're wrong. Lily Bell, no. And Reg D. Everybody's saying no, apart from Amalia, obviously being contrite tonight. Son of a toolmaker is more offensive. I know, and he's more toxic, Paulie. So it's, I literally, I mean, I'm looking at the kids, the couple of generations down from me, because it's, 20 years for a generation. David Graham says, whoever is upset with born and bred is now just. Is that the best you've got, David? I'm not sure about the thick ink head, but though, I mean, Mad Matt. Stephen Hall, yeah, you could say born and bred in England. I don't. It's not the cancel culture as such. It's just people talking utter rollicks. I mean, I did say I wasn't going to swear tonight, but I might have lied. TMG says, "Who the hell is offended at that?" Well, this poor reform counsellor. She was being interviewed by this, obviously some kind of version of a journo, not a proper journo in my view, but a journo, and she suddenly went into this free fall intellectually, this reform counsellor, because she just said, "Oh, I'm born and bred around here," and then she went, "Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Oh no, I shouldn't have said that. Oh, I can't say that. Oh no." And this interview was like looking at her as if to go, "What are you talking about, woman?" So she started asking her other questions, and the counsellor was like, "Well, there goes me political career. I'm shagged now," and it's so my consternation was what kind of listening to this poor woman literally wrestle with herself physically, like, "Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Oh no, man, my political career's gone. I was going to be a reform MP." I mean, I'm making it up. Hovis, best of both, brilliant, Reg D. If the police knock on your door over shite like that, ask if they have a warrant. If not, shut the door, but always record the interaction. I'm with you, Les. I am with you. So she kind of, so the interviewee, if you lose the interviewee, that's the end of the interview. If they're not going to give you stuff, if they're not going to talk to you about stuff, and they're in their own head thinking, "Oh, shite, man, I shouldn't have had that bloody coffee this morning." And Tom Murray's with me because I can't figure it out at all. I've looked it up. I haven't looked at the etymology of the word, but I've looked it up, and it just means from round here, or words to that effect. Phil Levan says the best news was Ian Watkins being unalived. Think how much it would cost to keep him for 29 years. I was going to talk about Tom Watkins, but I might do in just a little while. As I say, it's a bit loose tonight. It's not kind of the usual regimented format. And who said that? No, it was Tom Murray. So there you are, Tom. How on earth is born and bred offensive? I mean, the people that find that offensive need to have a steel bar shoved up their derriere, because I can't for the life of me work out how it's offensive. I mean, I know there could be games afoot where the bobbies, I mean, the cops that I know deal by common sense. The ones I know, I mean, I'm sure you have different stories and different experiences, but the ones I've experienced and know, it's common sense. And some of them don't even want to go out and deal with this, "Oh, you've said this, what do you mean?" And there was one guy at the Palestine demo the other day, held up a kind of placard, and it says, I or we stand with the Jews. And then he got arrested for inciting racial hatred. And I thought, hang on, I stand with, how's that racially inciting? I mean, and then there's a woman standing silently outside of abortion clinics being arrested for standing there and saying that. And you just think, is this the sort of people go into the police because they want to improve their communities and stand by their communities? And there was a time when being a bobby, being the thin blue line, was a career amongst certain circles. I mean, I know that a bit like the miners' strike. I've told you this before. Maggie, 100. I bet she's a bit, whatever she's wearing needs ironing now. But she had the army wear police uniforms with no epaulets. wasn't terrorism. And you just think policing used to be a vocation, a bit like NHS and ambulance and fire. All of the emergency services used to be a vocation. Now you can see the young cops who are just careerists, and they don't get paid that much, you know. When you go in as a bobby, you're on 19, 20 grand a year. I mean, you get add-ons, but a load of the add-ons have been taken away. So there used to be, I was told that some cops, if they transferred or when they went in, they would get free housing and they would get free this and they would get free that. All that's been taken away because the office jockeys at the top, they're the real scum in my view. It's the office jockeys, the desk jockeys at the top who are sitting there thinking, oh, I wonder which brothel I can make my way to and smuggle this one into town to today. And I can say that because I'm very well aware of Police Scotland and all the cops that were doing a particular job looking at the massage parlours in Edinburgh. And who should trot along? One of the office jockeys. I think was he chief super? Like super or superintendent? Super or chief super, who was the head of the operation. And all of his cops were standing there. He pulled up in a police vehicle and went inside the massage parlour for a happy finish or whatever he decided to pay for. They arrested him. I mean, what did he expect his cops to do? Not arrest him? That's corruption. So I can say that. But it's... So there was a lot to unpack in there. One, Maggie 100. I'll watch I think there's a Netflix kind of docudrama on there. And I lived near Grantham, where she was brought up, seemingly. And so we'll do that. And I can't. Look, my head's shredded. I'm not going to go into it, but my head's shredded. So that's why it's going to be loose tonight. Because it just is. Hang on a second. Aidan Wellsmith, David Graham. Why did the youth go to therapy? It felt like it was always getting needed. Blimey, Aidan. Don't tell anybody where you got that one from. Stephen Hall says, I lived in Derby for 22 years after my family moved from London. Derby, love it. Love it, love it, love it. Happy ending. It was research, says Aidan. I bet it was. Wasn't a freebie, though, because that's corruption. This country's losing the plot. Yeah, so born and bred. I mean, I know we can make light and make jokes, but it's just something that you would say. I mean, I know. Look, Alf Garnett. Some of his language was just oi 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 oi. No, you can't say that. Not even in the 70s. How they got away with it, I don't know. Aidan Wellsmith says that was his excuse and he's sticking to it. It was sticking all over his hand, from what I gather. Terry Wookfit says a couple of reasons for that Dougie never explained. Not dress code at the time didn't require them to wear collar numbers, and UK-wide they authorised them to remove them when dealing with terror-related issues. Yes, correct. So they turned up at Dougie's house, and it was a terrorist-related incident. Someone had called in a bomb threat and wanted to do other things, which I'm not going to repeat, to BBC Radio Nottingham. And they made the call in somebody's name. So they knew where he lived. They went round and knocked on his door. Took their epaulets off because it's terror-related. That's why. Louise Hampson, I've lived in Kettering all my life. Wow. That's really unusual, Louise. But, and I'm sure there is a comfort from that. I mean, I've, since 1990 dot, I left the family home, and then I've lived everywhere. Wales, Scotland, every major conurbation in England. I think I've got a bit of the gypsy wanderlust in me. Adam says, at the time he said it was a terror-related incident, but he never mentioned it again. Yeah, it was BBC Nottingham head office. Thank you, Terry. I know so much more. So much more. But I can't. Stuart says, remember the video he did from his bedroom when the police showed up saying, let us, we're breaking the door down? No, I mean, I wasn't. I'm not going to go into that too deeply because it's becoming tiresome. Because I now know his shtick. What he's trying to do is he's trying to prompt people to talk either about him or something that he's involved in, and then he's going to whine and say he's a victim, and then he's going to have a go. I mean, that's not to say that I'm not doing any more videos about him. Of course I will. But David Graham, Adrian Allen may write a book soon, maybe. Oh, look, I'm mucking about with AI. Jesus, I've written about 1,000 books in the last 2 days. Oh, I say, Andrew James, everyone round there, he says, if you come this way, it's cucumber sandwiches and wine. That's just at my house. You are quite funny tonight. I'm trying to work out what's going on. Is it in the air or something? Everybody's been quite funny. Soul Rebel says, I'm born and bred Storky and proud of it. Beata, did they find out who made the threat? Yes, and charges were brought, but I don't know how the case finished. So it's, I'm not really going to talk about it, Beata, because you understand sub judice, but I would imagine that was made, 5 years ago? Hang on, 2.5, about 5 years ago. So the case must have finished. So I doubt it's going to be sub judice, but just in case, I can kind of give you in general terms, but not in specifics. TMG, I'd love to live up north. I was born and bred in a place called Walthamstow. It's become a right shithole. I'm sure the Taliban are next door. Well, France, up north, anywhere. You know they're finding cases of arms, aren't you, in hotels? You are aware of that, aren't you? And that's not me inciting anything or making anything up. That's from the reportage that I've seen on TV. That's my source. There's hotels that have been like, oi, 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 what's that, man? What's that? Oh, just a delivery. What do you mean the delivery's got bloody guns in? Alan, no, we're not going to bash in your cat flap. You may say that, but I can't possibly comment. Even though, honestly, tonight, I don't know what the fascination is with derriere and cat flaps and back doors. The only thing worse than being talked about is not being talked about. Oscar Wilde. I know, Tom. So as I say, at the moment, there's a lot going on in the background. Not to do with me, but I'm aware of others, and I feel it's my duty to help and support and protect other people. Des Ashton says, I was born in Rochdale, but I was made in the Royal Navy. And everybody that voted, thank you very much for your votes, by the way. Everyone that voted I think, has the same consternation as me. We can't work it out. You can't say anything. I mean, we've seen that sign in shops loads of times before. Hopefully, fuck off doesn't offend. Soul Rebel used to enjoy the series. Bread, ceramic, chicken on the table. Where's me pudding? Well, there's a gag there. Guns don't kill people. Rappers do, says Finn. Fingers in you. Belfidian. Tom Harley's, exactly. Just made it in. Oh, Napoleon blown apart. Exactly. Where have you been, young sir? I'm sure there's a joke in there playing ketchup. Everyone, evening. Welcome, Napoleon blown apart. Shall we get into some stuff? We'll get into some heavyweight. We will get into, as I promised last week, we will get into... so we're going to kind of play a quiz, but not a quiz. So I'm going to see if you can guess the top 20 children's TV shows from... the 20 years between sort of the 1960s to the 1980s. I think after that, it's no wonder the kids are doing recreational gear now. They needed it to watch the bloody TV. Paulie Galtieri, I was groomed in Rochdale, more like. Can we call bin bags black bags, or does that still offend? Well, yeah. Thank you for reminding me. I've got to put my bins out tonight. So for me, language is just that. It's language. Language is used to communicate feelings, and communication is all about words and language. So if I was to say, I was born and bred around here, then that's just a shortened version of, well, I was born then and raised and bred round here. My family's been here for 300 years, and take half an hour to say something that says, I was born and bred round here. For me, that's just language. It's not offensive. It's not trying to be or proposing to be offensive. I see you. Dinging ringing tree. I've got trauma. I've got PTSD. I see you from the singing ringing tree. That little, what do you call them now? Midgets? Dwarfs? Short people? Oh. They're sending another helicopter. I'm being monitored. Can you hear it? Jack and Ori, will you just pack it in? We'll get there. Because we'll get there. Let's get some of this other stuff. So we have a resident psychic in the Theatre of the Mind. Psychic Wookfit, and when Psychic Wookfit gets out his see-through sphericals out, then they tend to be quite accurate. So this evening, normally I would have said this was an anonymous emailer, but it's so prescient and so insightful. I thought I'd tell you that we have a resident psychic Wookfit. So Psychic Wookfit is saying that their latest predictions, if I can find out where my mouse is, bloody hell, man. So you need to take all of this on board in piecemeal and just put it in your bits of jigsaw so you can get the whole picture. So Europe can't afford to send any money to Ukraine. I mean, the French government, bloody hell. Emile Macron and his husband, trans husband, seemingly. We're going to send DNA evidence to say that no, it's she's definitely a woman. No. So France have kind of sacked the prime minister. One's a president, one's a prime minister. So there's the prime minister resigned, and then 2 days later, Macron goes, "No, I've reinstated you, man." And the prime minister's going, "Oh, Emile, man, just no. I don't want to be anymore. I don't want to be a politician. I don't want to be." Is that a bloke with a bad wig? I don't know what you're talking about, Adrian. So Europe can't afford to send any more money to Ukraine to be laundered. Oh, sorry, did I say that out loud? Hence, dipping into the frozen Russian assets. Oh, the oligarchs are not going to be very happy at all, are they? Which is illegal under international law, but they don't give a flying feck about international law. Look at little Bibi Netanyahu. He was causing war in Gaza, and then he was like an international arrest warrant was issued, and it's like, no, you're not getting me, man. I'm Prime Minister, I'm President, I'm God in Israel. So no, you can't. He never left Israel, though, did he? Because the first thing would have been arrest. But Germany is shagged, which is a technical term that we use on YouTube Lives, giving 9 billion euros a year, but having to cut international services and welfare budgets to make ends meet. I've told you, it's where they send your taxes to be washed, laundered, dried, and put into the trouser arse pocket of politicians. So, incidentally, the German car industry is almost dead. This is Psychic Wookfit. The German car industry is almost dead, as are a lot of high-tech industries. Bosch has just laid off 22,000 workers. Blimey! So all the high-tech industries, that'll be AI then, or that'll be Ed Millipede, and the high-tech industries, all those solar panels. For now. So we seemingly have a budget deficit and a stagnating economy, but it's not as bad as France. Macron, his options are, well, shag a bloke or shag a bloke, are severely limited. Election coming up. Japanese love that word. Makes them laugh loads. Election. Because they have no such thing as an L. in the Japanese language, talking about language, born and bred. They don't have an L, it's just an R. So election turns into erection. Just saying. So France want to try and form another government. Well, but this time from the centre left, because they don't want to go hard left. They don't like anything hard in France because they've got spines of jelly in France. That's me, not Psychic Wookfit. And so France is buggered, literally. Germany's shagged. And from what I understand it, the Labour front bench are saying, oh, we'll have both of those, please. They'd love to be buggered and shagged. So no one appears to want to take him up. Oh, I say. Hand the government over to Le Pen's party. Psychic Wookfit says, I think I would sooner drink acid. There is a battery acid gag there, but I won't go for it. I shall continue with the psychic predictions. So expect an announcement, or at least criticism of von der Leyen, bitch, that the amount of capital of the frozen Russian assets exceeds the amount it's standing security for over the next month or two. So they've, honestly, the politicians who know there's money there, what do they want? Well, they want to get that frozen Russian asset out into Ukraine to be laundered so it ends up in the arse trouser pocket of the politicians. That's why they've got NGOs. That's why they're trying to put all the money in Ukraine, because little Sniffy is going as fast as he can, laundering all the bloody money. Oh, so rebel, am I? I'm old, Andrew. Couldn't stand Selwyn Froggatt. By the way, I remember Selwyn Froggatt. He's dead now, obviously. Gaza looks good, eh? Now, this was sent yesterday rather than today. It's a load of bollocks. Technical term, before you say anything. Hamas won't disarm. Bibi and Trump both know it. Mind, that's a few weeks away before they need to. So why the pantomime? Well, it's simple, really. US pumping air defences into Israel. Israel have some of its older systems and will give some of its older systems to Ukraine, but that's incidental. Israel and the US are once again gearing up to hit Iran. Remember the B-2 using bunker busters to hit the Iran nuke program. It wasn't as decisively hit as Trump bragged. They'd moved a lot of stuff from the sites that were hit. Gee, you don't say. So Bibi has provided Trump with intelligence about new targets. So 2 to 3 weeks at most, Iran will once again be hit, but this time, maybe no noise from Trump, but there will be a significant US involvement. There is a carrier fleet, recently entered the Med. It will move to between Cyprus and the Israel border. So, continuing this, because what I'll do is I'll add what's happened today onto the end of this, because I was losing my will to live watching Bibi Netanyahu. Oh, Donald, how hard can I suck your cock, mate? Or whatever it was in Hebrew. And then somebody else stood up and went, oh, Donald, can I blow smoke up your ass? And the Donald was looking like, hang on, do you want to suck me cock or blow smoke up my ass? Make your mind up. Technical terms, obviously, that we use in radio. So here's one of our leaders' cons. So Hamas, a part of the Iran Hydra. That's not like water, that's Hydra, multi-headed snake. If that was so, why in Syria were Hamas backing one side and Iran the other? To make sure one of them was on the winning side? Nah, laugh my arse off. Somehow, I don't think so. Iran supported al-Assad, Hamas supported the rebels overthrowing al-Assad, the same side we're on, by the way, before you ask. It's all. So what you've got is the military-industrial complex making a shit ton of money everywhere in the world. They need war, not George Orr. They need it because it makes loads of money for America. That's why America's so rich. And I think America's arms and armaments accounts for about 60% of their GDP. They're $37 trillion in debt. Obviously, it's not working, but David Gray makes a very good point. strange that Japan and Germany make the best stuff over the years, and they were the countries that lost the Second World War. I watched. Have you ever seen the Mel Gibson film Hacksaw Ridge? Watched that over the weekend, and boy, what a movie that is! And so there's a point in the film where the Japanese become kind of, they start waving the white flag, and they come out from their little bunker that's being busted, and I said to the people I was with, nah, that's not the Japanese. Japanese wouldn't do that. Japanese would rather die with honour than surrender. Sure enough, woof, start lobbing all the bombs at the Americans. The white flag was just a ruse for them to come out and kill more Americans, because the Japanese war machine would rather die with honour than not die at all and be taken prisoner. Stuart says, yeah, great film. Albert Metcalf, good film. Aidan Wellsmith says 37 trillion plus 220 for pensions. Oi, oi, oi. Starmer has to be seen to be there because of his fuck up recognising plasticine as a state. Well, let me tell you something. So what's going to happen now? It's not a prediction. It's kind of common knowledge, I would suggest. And I'll continue with the psychic predictions from Psychic Wookfit in a second. Look, there's a shit ton of money in Israel now, in Gaza. So on the one hand, you've got Israel making tens of billions of dollars out of the gas and oil that American companies and British oil companies have been drilling for the last 20 odd years, since the 90s. They know in the East Mediterranean there's trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars worth of gas and billions of barrels of oil under the East Mediterranean Sea, but more importantly, under the Gaza Strip. Now, I've been telling you this repeatedly for the past couple of years, and I can only presume that's one of the reasons why you come here regularly. So we had a situation the other day, and I would suggest Number 10 have moulded this, manipulated this. So Starmer came out. I don't know what he'd been on, or what he'd maybe he had a bit of a cold and had been sniffing a bit of whatever it is that you sniff, albus oil or something, when you've got a bit of a cold. But he must have had something up his nose to come out and say, oh yeah, we've sorted that. Yeah, we've sorted Israel. We've sorted Gaza. And Trump and everybody else is like, hang on a second. Is he talking out of his derriere? Oh, we're back to it ain't what you do, it's the way that you do it. It ain't. Fun Boy 3, man. Keep up. So the Americans are laughing at Starmer, Toxic Starmer, because he's saying he sorted everything out in Israel. And everybody else is going, no, you bloody didn't. So you've got Starmer telling everybody that, well, we're sorting it, and I'm going to take me mate. I'm going to take me mate, President Macron and his husband in the ill-fitting wig, and well, the German, he'll probably invade Iran if we ask him. And the reason why they're going to Israel is because they want to be part of rebuilding the Gaza Strip. Because there's going to be trillions and trillions and trillions of money pumped into the Gaza Strip, so that it becomes like almost the Israeli Riviera. I mean, look, they're going down to Sharm el Sheikh, which is very nice. I have been there, and the snorkeling in the Red Sea is very nice, very clear and very nice. But they want in. They want in on the game. It's a bit like the Suez Canal. It was the French and the Brits that built the Suez Canal. And then when the Egyptians took over, the French and the Brits didn't make that much money. So Starmer and Macron want to be in on the game in Gaza because there's a shit ton of money to be made in there. Oh, you'll not have seen anything like it. And that's why the Donald today in his speech was saying, oh, Bibi, mate, we're going to make loads of money. Loads of money. So I was waiting for Trump to say it. Maybe we should send him a note going, here, Donald, do that for us. The Brits will love you for it. And he will. Laird Wookfit says, TMG, whose nose? Everybody's nose. They're all at it, man. It's Coca-Cola, not Albus oil. Wookfit says, a very shrewd move, because if those gas fields ever get developed and tapped, they belong to GAA, or is that Gaza? Not Israel. So Britain will be there, cap in hand. That's why Charles Lyndon wanted to be king of Gaza. Because once he's king of Gaza, he's got the next 20 years, he's got a generation to start pulling that oil and gas out of the ground. And literally, they're going to make so much money, they won't know what to do with it. They won't. And that's why Trump was alluding in his speech today to Qatar and UAE and the Saudi royal families and everybody in the Middle East. Lads, there's a shit ton of money to be made here. Let's all get in here. Giorgio, not war, and let's get the good stuff, the black gold, out of the ground, because we'll just be trillionaires. I mean, what's the next? Google aliens or something? Les Griffith says the peace will not hold. Well, Bibi, so the question I've got to ask you is this. Bibi Netanyahu, while he was war prime minister, would never have been taken and tried as a corrupt official because he was a war prime minister. They couldn't take him to court and try him for corruption. But now that there's no war, they can try him and send him to jail. So you know what's coming down here? Those bloody Gazans. And it'll kick off again. The Arabs have fucked Blair off, though, said they don't like him or want him. Well, they wouldn't, because they want the money. Thank you, Terry. They want the money. So they're all, and I've told you before, little, Jesus, head of the PLO. I've lost his name now. Yasser Arafat. Which is why the Swiss banks are laughing all the way to the bank, pun intended, because Yasser Arafat's put billions. And I'm not talking just the odd one or two. I'm talking 10s and 20s and 30s. Billions. All the money that was supposed to go to the PLO, the Palestine Liberation Organization. It didn't go there. It went to bloody Yasser Arafat and his Swiss bank accounts. And then, me heart. So when little Yasser was poisoned and fell off his perch, nobody could find the bank accounts. They've looked for them everywhere. All of the details was in little Yasser's head. I mean, can you imagine how dangerous that is? Like, one digit wrong. The U-Bovril. Now, do you think it is quite strange that we're not mining our own oil and gas? It is strange, but it's not. Remember, you'll own nothing and be happy. And if it's true that the puppet masters, the shadow dwellers, want the Christians and the Muslims to be at war with each other, but there won't be war in Israel or with the Arabs because they'll be too busy making so much money out of the black gold and gas coming out of the ground. Whether it's the Black Sea, the Caspian Sea, the Israeli East Mediterranean and Gaza Strip, it's all about the gas and the oil. Energy independence. I'm telling you. Mark my words, but as some of you are alluding to, I see you. Yes, they recognise like-minded greed. So I believe that it's a happy day with a happy finish. I think the Donald went from Tel Aviv, which I've been to a few times, and gone down to Sharm el Sheikh. Honestly, Sharm el Sheikh, it is a bloody lovely place. Because it's just very warm and sunny most of the time. And so he's gone down there after the speeches. But the speeches were all, mate, lads, we're going to be rich. We're going to be rich. I mean, it literally was only fools and bloody horses today in Israel. And everybody's laughing their heads off because they know the Donald's gone, here, shut the up. Do you know how much money's in the ground now? So you've got Gaza, you've got northern Gaza. I did look in some of the papers over the weekend where they were saying, oh, the Gazans, there's thousands of them flooding back into the Gaza Strip. And I thought, they're not going into North Gaza, that's for fucking sure. Schwab, yes, we are. Thank you, Les. We are gods and we will destroy anyone in our way. Well, when you're behaving inappropriately, Klaus, mate, you get the sack. So everybody's like, hang on a second. Klaus Schwab's been sacked from the World Economic Forum? Yes. Why was he sacked from the World Economic Forum, Rev? Can't tell you. It was inappropriate, seemingly. And they turned that around. They said it was one thing when initially it was another, and it's the another that I was looking at thinking, Klaus Schwab doing that? Mocky old tart. Anyway, so this thing that's kind of been in the newspapers over the weekend, according to Psychic Wookfit, tomahawks to Ukraine. No, not that kind of tomahawks. No, never going to happen. Can't be done. The US Tomahawk system is mostly ship and air launched. They are bringing a new system in for ground launch, but it's huge, size queen, expensive, and isn't going to happen. It's called Typhoon. Drank their tea. There are 2 systems completely up and running and another being formed. One is in the Philippines. Can you imagine? Ladyboy Typhoon, or can I see the Ladyboy's Tomahawk? No, my eyes. The other is in the US with a best guess, it's a Trump-Zelensky tactic to put the Russians under pressure to negotiate on Ukraine's terms. Ukraine hasn't got any terms. Putin still has not changed his terms since day one. He won't. But Trump has fucked up. Never try to bluff a Russian if you don't have shit in your hands. The Russians know the Tomahawk's capability and the US ability to use it as ground-launched cruise missiles. So the US destroyed all of their transport Erector launchers. I was very careful about how I said Erector. When they closed Greenham, Molesworth and stuff. So not only that, they figured Tomahawk would never go back. So they binned all the tech they had. Manned tractors were used in the 80s. They also powered the transport Erector launchers. What do? Just stroke it and it just comes up. So all the specs were required to be destroyed under international treaties. That's why Typhoon started from the ground up. Now, supposing they do send Tomahawks to Ukraine with a launcher, who launches? Well, US personnel, and guess what? Putin knows this. So Russia receives a Tomahawk. The US will receive Oreshkin on the White House lawn or right down the centre line of a big US airbase, right down the runway. So basically, nobody can man the Tomahawks other than the Americans. Tomahawk lands in Russia. Putin knows that it's been manned by the Americans. Poof! And today, I didn't read all of it, but Trump's kind of predicting World War III. I mean, it's AI, it's drones, it's not big bloody missiles. So the longer Trump tries to play stupid games, the less chance the US and Russia will ever have of returning to a détente, entente cordiale. The more territory Ukraine loses, the EU and US are playing a game using Ukraine. The Russians are not playing. They are simply killing and very slowly advancing. The West better wise up. Territory is immaterial to Russia. It's about killing or maiming the enemy, so that's the enemy, can't fight. We play mind games with them. They don't do mind games. They just kill and maim. For all Kissinger was a caring, understanding 90s type, he knew the Russian mindset. They achieve objectives. They're not put off. So we'll leave Psychic Wookfit. We might do more on Wednesday. But let me just get rid of this. Oh, I thought I was going to do that, so I don't want to do that. So the speech today, I mean, they're all beside themselves knowing how much money is going to happen because of the gold, the black gold and the gas that's coming out of the ground. They all know. Trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars worth. They all want that in that little trough. And that's why the French and the British, we're going with our European counterparts. I mean, Jesus, Miles Starmer, the toxic, I was going to say twin, but who would you be a toxic twin with? They're going, thinking they're going to get a piece of the action. Trump's going to go, oi, Starmer, mate, Foxtrot Oscar, off you go, bunny lad. Americans in Israel, leave it to the big boys. But Donald, I don't want to sound like David Beckham. What we're going to do? You're going to do nothing, Bonnie lad. We'll send you more Ukrainian rent boys over. Have you sorted them out yet? Have they been jailed, or have they just been quietly dispatched to the front line in Ukraine? Who knows? I wonder if Klaus did the elephant game. It must look like a shriveled up acorn. Andrew, I don't even think it's as big as an acorn, but it was definitely trying to play Mr. Wobbly Hides his hat. There could be, Les. Definitely could be. So let's get to some of the digital ID posts that were posted in response to the video that I uploaded on Friday. As I say, it was from last Wednesday's live. Retro on his bikes. I don't think Retro, he must be away at sea at the moment. He says, Rev, we have an NI, National Insurance Number, for working and stuff, and the illegals don't. Employers that employ illegals still don't look at their NI number. So what's the chance these employers will look for their digital ID cards? These digital ID cards are not compulsory. I'll not be getting one. I'll go to prison first, and they haven't got enough prisons. What will they do? Put all the rapists out and all the terrorists and the rapists and the really bad people back on the streets so they can jail people for not taking the ID cards. Yeah, that's never going to happen in a month of Sundays. So at least I'll get to see a dentist in prison. Good idea, Retro. Fed and watered, and I'll get to watch TV free. Yeah, you can sit there in your bunk, pulling the head off it for 23 hours and not have a care in the world. Thank you, Retro. Paul Durkee, the problem is that illegals and legals come here and still work in the black economy. The only way to stop that would be to go to a digital currency. Paul Durkee, that's what they're going to use to bring the digital currency in. Don't sort of outthink these morons, because they'll thank you for that. So, we're going to stop the illegals. Oh, that didn't stop. Right, well, it's got to be digital currency. We'll have to bring digital currency in to stop this black market thing. So how are you going to launder money in Ukraine? That's why they're going as fast as they can, as hard as they can. Steady on, back to the Fun Boy 3 again. The reason why they're doing that... Oh, hang on, Stuart says, my neighbour's dog has gone in, Rev, so do the Beckham voice as loud as you like. Oh, it's me, David. It's me, David. Me bloody wife, man. She's on the telly. She's on Netflix. She's number one, which is an unusual place for her to be, considering she came out of the Spice Girls. Reverend, how could you? Easy. Phil Levan says, you catch Starmer's speech in India. He let it slip. It's about digital currency. I know, the digital ID. There you go. So they think we're stupid. We're not. We can work out what their next steps are easily. Thank you, Phil Levan. Darren Smith says, I've been trying to warn people about the CBDC, central bank digital currency, for the last few years, and I was laughed at. It's the bloody globalists' Agenda 2030. You'll be broke and happy. Yeah, absolutely. You'll be scratting about in the ground for bugs. You'll eat bugs and be happy. Mind you, you can always eat Klaus Schwab's acorn. Reg D says, I don't know whether Reg is in the body of the Kirk this evening. AA, why did you renew your licence online? Didn't you get a renewal paper licence form in the post like me? I didn't renew mine through the cost of driving a car is too much for me, so I gave it up. My licence was due for its third 3-year over 70 renewal, and a new photo was requested. But like I said, didn't renew. I think maybe I was being a bit naive, Reg. I just thought it was convenience. I could just, they could take my picture from my passport that had been renewed less than 6 months ago, and they could put it on my driving licence. So that's why I did it online. I now regret doing that because I'm not sure I'm going to get away from the grubby mitts of a Starmer government. But do you know something else that I worked out earlier? And this is just between me and you. Does it? Uh-oh. Keep an eye on that. Les says, every time, be careful, every time you do Beckham's voice, the Triffid starts trembling. No, man! Is it moving? David, don't! Bloody hell, Les, man, you're scaring us. It is a bit of a Triffid. It's nearly ceiling height, which is what, about 7 foot? So I kind of did it for convenience, and that's how they get you. the convenience angle, not the money, although, you know, they take your bloody eyes out nowadays. However much it costs to renew your passport, your driving license. It's just every 10 years. Oh, man. But thanks for that, Reg. Sir Andrew James says, now they are targeting kids with digital ID. What the hell for? Because you bring them up to live a certain way and then they become used to it. It's a bit like, when was the last time you saw a child not walking around with a smartphone? It's not smart. It's not even a phone. It's for idiots. We're the idiots, because I mean, I've had my mobile phone number, the same mobile phone number, since 1988. That's 37 years. How ludicrous is that? I mean, I remember in the 80s, we didn't have mobile phones. We didn't have the bloody internet either. I didn't have the internet for another 92. So, Amalia says, it's so convenient. I'm being sucked more and more by big tech. I think I might need to reword that, Amalia. I did warn the Rev that the Triffid was watching him. Just, if it gets any closer whilst I'm presenting this, then scream. But once you get the kids into it, I mean, have you never watched? I've watched 4 and 5 year olds get hold of this tech, and somehow they just know how to use it, and without anybody telling them, they just know. They can see it, and the minute it's got hold of them. So, so back in the 80s, when I got my mobile phone, it was like I was one of those. I had an Ericsson as my first phone, not a brick, but I had an Ericsson, which I thought was really sexy. But so it was the phones that got us into the mobile phone era. And then once you had your number, you didn't want to lose your number, so you kept buying new phones. I mean, I've had an iPhone since 2008. You're looking at 17 years. 37 years from my mobile number. That's insane. But the little ones now, by the time they get into school, like 4.5 years old, they're old hands at operating tech. So you just let them do it for like 10, 15 years, or that generation. So that's why they're giving digital IDs or versions of to the kids, because they know once they've got them hooked for life, not just for, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 years. Saber Truth 369 says, always start with the children. Normalization indeed. Robert Norman says, if illegal migrants are getting paid free house, free food, etc., etc., which is costing the taxpayer big money, trying to stop them working is only pin money compared to what they're really getting. So really, the truth be known, it's all about spying on us. Oh, I think everybody's got that. I mean, has it hit 3 million wanting digital ID gone? Philips Savvy was my first phone. Blimey, BD cut. I didn't even know that existed. What was one of those? Kids are better with the technology than the adults. I know, but is it the cry in your house when you're kind of struggling with something, or just give it to the kids? Because they know. And I had last week, I was trying to access something on my telly. You know, one of these smart tellies? It's not very smart because it's operated by dumb people. So I was trying to get this password put in, and the child in the house, who's in his 20s and not a child anymore, he said, oh, here, oldie, give it to me and I'll sort it. So I said, there you go then. So he was there for 10 minutes. I said, why haven't you sorted it? Oh, I don't know. It might be a technical issue. I said, no, it's not. You haven't got the right fucking password. Do you want the password? We oldies know what passwords are. Oh, I stood on that moral high ground for ages. According to Alison, this will not happen, Adrian. Tony Blurt tried it and failed. No one will agree to it. I do not comply. That Lisa Nandy Bird is my local MP. She can fox to Oscar. Everyone in Wigan despises her. Yeah, well, she's gone. She's unemployed at the next general election. Darren Smith says there's going to be a collapse of the financial system. They're going to collapse the financial system so they can bring in the tokenized slavery system, CBDC. Before you can get it, you're going to need to have digital ID. So the clever ones are buying physical gold, because physical gold never goes out of fashion. And they're going to make sure that whatever you own, you have to sell off. You're in debt. I mean, the whole planet is tens of trillions in debt. Who to? Mars. So, my first phone, it had 16 polyphonic ringtones. Well, I say, Stuart. Was that Stuart? Yeah, no. Alan. Thank you, Alan. Me Motorola. Oh, TMG says, do you remember paying to get a ringtone? Don't talk to me about that bloody frog. I bought brown sugar and it sounded absolutely terrible. My friends used to laugh when it rang. Well, you can still do that, can't you? You can still, on the iPhone, you can still put ringtones in for people. I was going to do Depeche Mode, Just Can't Get Enough, because there's no PRS. You can put whatever you want in your phone musically. And it's ding, 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 ding. That would have been my ringtone. Just never got round to it. Just like life. Teacher mate told me most kids use encrypted dark web that adults are terrified of. They get their pals to fingerprint, unlock each other's phones. No pins used. Ooh, Nicholas. I know, the kids think they're clever, but they're being watched on the dark web. Can't tell you how I know, but they're being watched. No, I can't tell you that either. Paulie Galtieri, my first phone was Motorola International 3200 GSM. It was the last of the brick phones. I mean, they were fantastic, but they just... I'd like to know whether the American intelligence services, the American military, helped build the iPhone. Because you can't get your SIM card out of the phone now. You can't get your battery out of the phone now, can you? No. Why is that then? Because your phone's always bloody switched on, even when it's switched off. JB says, hi Adrian, many thanks for this insightful information. Just shows how crafty these political bastards can be. Pissing us all on that we've won when LIBOR get kicked out. When really, we haven't. Even when Reform UK get in, funnily enough. My brother-in-law mentioned the Fabian Society today during a short conversation about this Britcard bullshittery. Worse than the Masons, he said. Now, could you answer a question for me, please? Are LIBOR expecting us pensioners to have these digital ID cards? I've heard that we OAPs won't really need them. Many thanks, Adrian. Keep doing what you're doing. KBO, John B. Brilliant. Thank you for that. Alison says, apologies, Rev. P.S. Also, ages ago, you said there were some psychologists who said only 20% of the population were prepared to look at what was going on in the world, but that 80% of the population don't want to know. I'm so part of the 20%. Who was the psychologist? I can't remember, Alison. God blimey, there's so much information goes through my head. I can't remember. I have to look at my notes. You did say you would tell us, Rev, but got waylaid and forgot. Story of my life, Alison. I will look it up. I'll keep it in mind now that you've asked. And if I can, I will. I promise. Proper gutted, but get it, because I'm a bit shy and always listened and joined in. Yeah, it's good to know that you are you're answering some of the questions, Alison. Thank you for that. I want to get to... Cuddly Mike says, it's the first time I've seen your channel. Spot on. I think we're being prepared for the next person to step in too. It started innocuously enough with logging in online, making accounts for everything. You can't make a phone call without logging into your phone and all the apps on there. It's difficult to even view social media sites without being logged in as someone. We've allowed this to develop and it's not going away. It's just a matter of connecting it all up. I don't think digital ID cards will be needed in the future. AI will pull it all together, or something similar, by stealth. We are all growing an interconnected digital profile with increasing ID requests from our online activities. Well said. Who was that again? Cuddly Mike. Thank you, Cuddly Mike. There was somebody said something which I thought was really, really clever. And it was it that said, Willie's Bucket says, David Icke spoke of this decades ago and people laughed at him. Well, they're not laughing now. The man's been right all along. Right, this was it from Thomas Myers. Thomas Myers says, Rev, the actual word Brit in Brit cards it's not like British card shortened, it's biometric registration, identification and tracking. I thought that was very clever. I'll say that again. So Thomas Myers reckons the actual word Brit in Brit cards is not about British. It's about, and is shortened, it's an acronym for biometric registration, identification and tracking. That's very clever. Thank you, Thomas Myers. Resist Control says, he's right, they've already built out the new digital financial monitoring infrastructure across the world, slow pushing us towards it. So back to gold and silver for bartering under the system. They will eventually outlaw buying precious metals. They use technology to control, monitor, and kill us off. That's what's coming. That's what's coming. As long as AI can do our jobs. I think that's enough for those comments. Thank you very much for that. I'll get to some of the let's get to some of the stuff that's been happening today. Should we talk about the royals, Prince Andrew and Charles the Weak? I mean, is King Charles still alive? Have you seen him recently? You personally seen him? Not in the papers or on the telly. Have you seen him recently? And the Queen? So, seemingly, Prince Andrew, over the weekend, he was still sending a convicted paedophile emails after he said he wasn't. And all the media are they're having this feeding frenzy about, oh, Andrew, you're wrong. And now, 6 months ago, I told you that Andrew and Sarah Ferguson, or the Duchess of Pork and the Duke of York, they're going to end up in Qatar. Qatar and the Saudis and the United Arab Emirates are the only countries really that could take him in and allow him to have the lifestyle that he's always had as a former HRH, but as a blood prince. And it gives them kudos to say, oh, look, one of the oldest bloodlines in the world. We have, Prince Andrew staying here, friend of Jeffrey Epstein. Yes, he's in that palace over there with thousands of rooms. Yes, and we have decent golf courses, so, he won't get bored. And all that Charles the Weak can come up with is, tell him he's not invited for Christmas lunch. And you think, hang on, mate, you're the king. Do something. Now, I believe, I have no proof of this, but I believe that there's somebody at the highest levels of the royal family leaking this stuff. And I believe that William, he was covering his mouth so nobody could see him talking to his uncle. And his Uncle Andrew was like, Billy, man, come here. Oh, bloody hell, Fergie, tell him about what you did with that bottle of fizz. So, no, I'm not going to tell you what you did with it. So, King Billy's guarding his mouth so nobody can see whether he's talking to his Uncle Ponce. And I will guarantee you that Andrew is going to have to leave. He's going to have to go. But he doesn't want to leave Royal Lodge. He's got hundreds of rooms. Okay, who agrees? When is Prince Andrew going to start chucking his teddy bears out of his pram? Well, they've got a Polaroid. They can always put them back in the same place. Today, we had Hostages Square. I get the propaganda element of that, and I get the way the psychologists will muck with your head. Hostages Square, yes, the world is a safer place now that we've got the hostages back. It's amazing how the Israelis look like the Gazans, and it's amazing how some of the hostages came out fatter than they went in. How does that work then? I thought they were hostages. I thought, well, maybe they were getting things that they can't have. Well, they're not Muslim in Israel. Some of them are. But what were they doing? Oh, I haven't seen my wife in months. We'll sort it out. Ethel, come here. Give him a cuddle. So only 20 hostages. They said 28 came back in boxes, so 50% attrition rate. They were looking well fed and healthy as far as I was concerned. And Israel couldn't find them. Had a way and shite, man. Israel is the most well-guarded, defended, and well-trained military in the world. They've got all the latest tech and some of the stuff that the Americans don't really want. But the Israelis couldn't have found them. So as Charlie Kirk said, and I don't want to go the same route as Charlie Kirk, was there a stand-down order on October the 7th? You already know the answer. So I want to know what personal agreement Bibi Netanyahu has struck. $110 billion was given to Israel, free gratis. And now, seemingly, the toxic twins, Starmer and Macron, want to be on the board of peace. Tony Blair must be pulling his stockings down. He'll be apoplectic with rage. Wig's gone. Stockings gone. Oh, Sherry, a bit too tight for me, this bodice, man. All gone, because everybody wants to be on it, and he's not. He's not even mates with the Arabs. So, according to Trump today, we're going to rebuild Gaza with dignity and power. And he said, and I quote, everybody wants in. Oh, and look at Starmer. He's another private flight from Blighty over to Israel. It only takes, 3 or 4 hours. And he wants in. Donald, mate, I've got some fake tan for you. It's all about economic power. And Trump says hope, harmony, and opportunity. They keep talking about these opportunities. They're literally speaking to each other going, look, lads, we're going to make a shit ton of money for obviously our offspring in the next 2 generations. But the Donald says it's going to be safer and Israel's going to be more prosperous than ever before. So where are they going to get the money from? I told you 2 years ago. War is over, says Trump. But, Bibi Netanyahu, the only question that came off my lips was, is that Ozempic or is that Mounjaro? Bit of a skinny lad compared to, he's a proper fat lad. He was Lammy level. So they now say that there's going to be peace in the Middle East. Okay. What are the illegals fleeing from? You know what I'm saying. And talking about illegals, was the migrant guilty of threatening Farage? And he had 75% of his security detail taken off him? These boys know what they're doing. Political assassinations. It happens. It does happen. Look, America assassinated their own president and have tried to subsequently. But have you noticed how he was found guilty on a Friday of threatening Farage? And notice how it's disappeared over the weekend from the news cycle. Nobody's talking about it now. Nobody. So, bad news buried on a Friday. By the Monday morning, you're thinking, bloody hell, that was a weekend and a half. God, I'm still hungover. And then we've got Bridget Phillipson. Oh, yeah, we're going to axe the cap on child benefits. We're going to axe the 2-child cap. You know why that is, don't you? So let me have a think. Which families have 2 or less children? And which families have 2 or more children? Because that's why they want to do away with the 2-child cap for child benefits. It's because there are certain families who might have a football team or a rugby team or a full stadium of supporters in their family, kids that they're knocking out. 3 wives, 10 kids. They're all claiming benefits for them. And yet me and you, I can't even get any benefits from this country. None whatsoever. Haven't got a job, no benefits, no nothing. Oh, your partner earns more than £16,000 a year. So let me tell you something. The reason why this country is in this state, it's because of the wokerati. And who are the wokerati? The civil servants. The civil servants that write his bloody speeches, who dictate policy, who tell everybody else. It's the civil servants that have ruined and killed this country. So, you know, this American digital ID, because there is one. There's one here. There's one in France. There's one in Germany. As I said in March 2020, how comes the whole world locked down? 5.5 years ago. Whole world was in lockdown. So if we've got a digital ID, we've got the infrastructure, not necessarily the actual ID. Germany, France, and America. Are you aware that the American digital ID has been partnered with Bill Gates? Now, I'll leave that with you because you know what Bill Gates was involved in March 2020? Oh, just jab him in the arm. Jab the kids in the arm. That Bill Gates. They're calling it the digital public infrastructure. And the digital public infrastructure, partnered with Bill Gates, officially launched at the end of 2024, December last year. So within 5 years, they're talking about the architecture already existing. 98% of governments worldwide will have this architecture ready by 2030. Payment processing systems, as I told you last Wednesday, digital health passports. And the apex for all of this is the Bank for International Settlements, which a lot of people will not have heard of because the banks use them, not you and I as individuals. But the apex is the Bank for International Settlements. And then what they're going to do is they're going to attach everything to the universal blockchain ledger. And you can only interact with the universal blockchain ledger with biometrics and digital ID. So if you want to go to digital money or the blockchain ledger, the universal worldwide one world government universal blockchain ledger, you can only do it if you've got biometrics or digital ID. So you see, it's the infrastructure that matters, not whatever they're going to do with the digital ID, not the card itself. It's the infrastructure. They've gotten the infrastructure in place without you even seeing it, without you even knowing it. And I am sick and tired of people on social media. When I put something out, within a week or so, there's other people going, oh, exclusive this and exclusive that. They're nicking it. There's no integrity. It's all clicks and likes and bullshit. And all I ever ask you when I do this work for these lives is just to hit the likes, please. Did you? I don't know whether you've caught any of it's the only story in town today. Only story. And I feel what the mainstream media are doing is one main story, and they all have a feeding frenzy on that one main story. So if you look, I watched the BBC's coverage. I know Sky was all in on it. Sky, their new strapline, never wrong for long. So the BBC, they were wringing their hands, and they couldn't say a bad word against Trump. They're not allowed to now. Oh, blimey. The fact that we left Europe and Brexit, they bellyached for years, the BBC. Oh, bless them. And then they're wringing their hands. Oh, we're at Hostages Square. Oh, they're going to release the hostages. Fuck me, the fatties are coming out. Oh, they went in skinny and they came out fat. How does that work then? But the world is a safer place today. Oh, let's wring me hands. Oh, work for the BBC. They didn't like what was happening in Israel. That's fucking sure. I mean, they were saying, oh, yes, well, the Gazans had no cooking oil for 7 months. Hang on. They had a £300 million port built by the Americans and the Israelis to get the aid on board. And now the little Gazans, blimey, they're going to be eating everybody out of house and home. BBC, oh no, Israel, man, oh, the world's a safer place. No, man. Oh, shit, more intelligent stuff. So just telling you, keep your eye on them. I'm going to ask you another question. Oh, I cancel, hang on. And I'll leave that. No, I'm going to ask you a question. So remember, it's always 1 for yes, 2 for no, 3 for I don't know. Next question, and there will be another one in a second. Would you vote for Jeremy Clarkson to replace Ed Miliband in Doncaster North if there was the general election? Would you vote 1 for yes, 2 for no, 3 for I don't know? Would you vote for Jeremy Clarkson to replace Ed Miliband in Doncaster North? Oh, Talker 69, of course, they're bloody hell. They're turning off the landlines. Amalia doesn't know. Everybody else is 1s. Reg D, 2. Oh, Stuart, a 2. I don't have a vote in Doncaster North. I live in Scotland. Just for argument's sake, Laird Wookfit, if you had a vote, would you vote for Jeremy Clarkson in Doncaster North? Seems the majority is probably about 95%. Des Ashton won't make any difference. Yeah, but it'll kick that out of politics. Because once they're out, they're out. Out. They're not coming back in. That's for absolutely technical term, shit show. I mean, I get that voting for Jeremy Clarkson, Napoleon blown apart, won, but just duct tape his mouth shut. Right then, random Jack, common sense. So I think we're stuck between our cynical old tartism. Because is it going to make any difference? Would we make any difference? Does it make any difference? But if it's targeted and we want to get rid of Starmer and Miliband and all the front bench of the Labour Party, because once they're gone at the next general election, it's over, it's finished, it's done. Unless, of course, they rig the election. Am I suggesting such a thing? Well, if they can do it in America, anyone who bans Starmer from his bar gets a vote from me. I'd vote for Mr. Blobby to get that moron out. Post of the night, echoes Bunny Woman. Was there something else I was going to talk to you about? Yeah, a serious question that I want a vote on, but also your comments on. Because I mentioned earlier that we're 5.5 years down the line, 5.5 years away from the first lockdown. Yeah, just for 5 or 6 weeks, just to flatten the curve. 2 years later. And have you noticed that clown is trying to get back into politics? Oh, I'll join Reform. No, you won't. I mean, if Farage allows Bojo the clown into Reform, he needs his head looking at. The boy's trouble. I mean, there was the death match between Rich Boy Sunak, Cockite, and Bojo the clown. And Rich Boy won the hearts of the Conservative Party because he was richer than Bojo the clown. And Bojo's trying to get back into politics. No. You know what he's going to go? We know what he needs to do. Foxtrot Oscar, mate. So, question. 1 for yes, 2 for no, 3 for... I don't know. Do you know of anyone that died of Charlie 19 at home? Do you know of anyone that died of Charlie 19 at home? Blimey. Daz Beale, BD Cool, Manda Sky, Alan, Reg D, Phil Sumner, Random Jack, Cuban Pete, Andrew James, Matthew Whedon, Kaz, Catwoman Jones, Nicholas, The Old Bovril, Mad Matt, Simons, Echo Bunny Woman, everybody. It's literally 100%. Of it, Adam. Martine knows, but that's the rarity. Top of 69 says, but I know a lot that died from The Cure. Great band. Okay. Yeah, I had a couple of neighbours, but they could have been taken by the flu. They didn't show up that year. Phil Sumner says, very, very good point. Thank you, Led Wookfit. Phil Sumner says, only what the mental media told us. So most people, did they die from Charlie 19? And I still have to be careful how I pronounce it on here. At home. Because a lot of people felt ill and then rushed to hospital or went into hospital and died in hospital, for all the dancing nurses who didn't have anything to do, seemingly, we were flattening the curve to help and save the NHS. Much good that did. Amalia says, I know of others, but not at home. Lionel Layton Unrehearsed says, my wife, but not in a nursing home. Nick says, I've not felt well since the jibber jabber. And I see you says, died with, not from. Stuart says, dancing on TikTok. Yeah, right. So, I wanted to ask that question. It's quite a serious question, I know. But I'm going to call it a day. I know we didn't get round to the music round. We were kind of we've hoovered up everything else within reason. And we will get to it eventually, I promise. So thank you for your likes. Please smash the likes. Thank you for your likes, your subscriptions, but most of all, your indulgence. My name's Adrian Allen. Thank you for tonight's live. I'm doing my charity work with the Mankind Project tomorrow evening, so there will be no live. The next live, Nicholas says, very, very important. Don't forget to put your bin out. Next live, Wednesday night for live 249 and then 250 this coming Sunday. We'll think of something good to do. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you got some value from it tonight. Sorry, I wasn't quite on it, but I hope you got some value from it. Wherever you go, whatever you do, stay well, be well, stay safe. Thank you, Stuart, as ever, for your continued support. And I've got to tell you, right, this is between me and you, not any further, because I don't want this to get out. But I had some elderly relatives yesterday. Went to see them in the morning before stuff went awry. And thank you, Random. Oh, you're very kind. Thank you for your continued support. So yesterday morning, they said, we're going to this really fancy hotel this afternoon for afternoon tea. I was like, oh, lovely, yeah. It's not a footy weekend, so you're not going to miss anything. And suddenly, it was scones, sandwiches, and cakes. And have a guess what was included in the cakes? Homemade Battenberg. So they called after they'd been for the high tea. I said, oh, did you keep us any Battenberg? Oh, no, we ate that. I said, you know what it's used for, don't you? And then I thought, oh, can't tell them that. And they went, oh, no, no. What's that used for? I said, oh, it's just an old story I heard. It's of no great consequence. Oh, Jesus, can you imagine telling an 80-odd-year-old couple that, oh, yes, Battenberg. No, I didn't. But it did make me laugh. So have a good Tuesday. I'm doing my charity work tomorrow night. And then I'll see you Wednesday, 7:15 for the parish notes and 6:30 for the rest of it. Stuart says, I'm sure the car smelled fragrant afterwards. I didn't dare tell him. And they won't watch this, so thankfully nobody will find out. But whatever you do, wherever you go, if you're backpacking anywhere in the world, don't forget your emergency Battenberg. And Theatre of the Mind. It's not a show. These lives are a mission for the truth, and we'll continue with the truth Wednesday, 7:15 parish notes, 7:30 for the start of the life. I'll see you then.